So today I've got a different type of deck on the ladder. We get to play Sheoldred, use Academy Loremaster to gain loads of life, play only on our opponent's turn, and we can even win without attacking at all. Hey everyone, Hex here, and today we're playing some flashy Sheoldred shenanigans on the best of one ladder in Standard. Before we get going, and as always, I really appreciate your support for the channel, and if you haven't yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button below to not miss out on future content. But let's get into today's deck, a fun deck that we aim to solely play on our opponent's turn and draw our way to victory. Starting with our main two cards, we have Academy Loremaster, that for 2 blue says at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player may draw an additional card. If they do, spells they cast this turn cost 2 more to cast. So how do we leverage one-sided value on this card without our opponents drawing themselves to victory? Well, we have 2 main ways. Firstly, 4 copies of Sheoldred. With this out, we gain 2 life each time we draw, so hopefully at least 4 life on each of our turns, and opponents do lose 2 life each time they draw. They have to decide whether they want to draw extra cards and take more damage and tax their spells, or decline our lovely offer of extra cards. The other way is that almost all our spells draw cards or can be played on our opponent's turn. This gets around the Loremasters condition. So creature-wise, we're playing Ertai Resurrected that has Flash and says when it ETBs, we can counter a spell or destroy a creature or planeswalker, and either way, we force the opponent to draw, which is exactly what we want. We have Faerie Vandal, which is another Flash creature that gets a +1/+1 counter whenever we draw a second card each turn, so this can get quite big quite quickly if left unchecked. Lastly, we're playing Overcharged Amalgam, a 3/3 flashy flyer that has exploit, and when it does exploit, can counter a spell or ability. You don't have to exploit though, and a 3/3 flyer is a pretty decent creature our opponents have to deal with, or we get to surprise block one of their attacks with it. The rest of the deck is card advantage and interaction, mostly instant speed. We have Silver Scrutiny and Deluge for card draw. Be wary though, the Deluge doesn't actually technically draw, so we won't trigger Sheoldred with it. Non-instant speed, we get to play Kaito Shizuki as a decent planeswalker that draws cards, hopefully gets some life, plus can create a creature to exploit with the Amalgam, and Bankbuster, another threat that can draw us cards. Interaction wise, Infernal Grasp, Make Disappear, and Pilfer. With 25 lands, that's our deck, so we have a pretty simple plan to cut our opponent's life down slowly whilst trying to stay alive. I think this is a pretty decent shell for Academy Loremaster, a card I found interesting since it was first revealed, and if you've got any lying around, why not give it a try? Most people have Sheoldreds in their collections too. Anyway, I've got some games I played with these cards, and I found them pretty fun. Alright, on the play, with a decent hand. Some card draw here, Sheoldred, and we get one of our tap lands out of the way on turn 1. So yeah, this looks pretty promising. Already up to 21 life, which is a good start. Opponent with a Riveteer's Overlook. So this deck tends to be the Jund deck with the Soul of Windgrace maybe. We draw a land, which is exactly what we want. And we get to hold open our Infernal Grasp, and here comes an Underdog. And yeah, I'm just going to deal with that now. Try and sort of keep our life total as high as we can until we can get some board presence going on. Kaito's a nice card here though, so we can start drawing some cards. But we do start with creating a 1/1, so we don't have to discard next turn if we attack with this. Opponent with their 3rd land drop, so obviously a Liliana might be a bit of a problem here. They go with a Fable, that's fine. And we draw a 2nd Sheoldred. Alright, so because of that, I'm quite comfortable playing this Sheoldred out onto this board, and we can attack with a 1/1. And yeah, here is Kaito's Loyalty +1. So we get to draw and don't have to discard. Opponent draws and loses 2 life. So here we go. This is what we want here. We want Sheoldred to start picking our opponents down. I guess attacking with the 1/1 as well. Removal on Sheoldred isn't the end of the world, as we have another one in our hand. And yeah, downside of Fable here on its 2nd chapter is that they have to decide whether they want to draw up to 2 cards and take another 4 damage from Sheoldred. And that is exactly what they do. Alright, so another 4 damage to the opponent's face. Opponent gets in with the 2/2. Alright, so clearly they've got something in their hand, unless they want the, unless they're going to play their own Sheoldred. But yeah, we'll just block this 2/2 now. Would like Kaito to stay alive, so the Surge comes down and finishes off Sheoldred, not a problem. Like I said, we have another one in our hand. And yeah, opponent doesn't play anything. Alright, so let's get down Sheoldred number 2. attack our opponent for 1, draw a card, gain 2 life, and yeah, already up to 23 now. Opponent is going to take another 2 damage, and they go down to 11. And Fable becomes Kiki-Jiki, or Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, that is. And it is the Soul of Windgrace, alright. So we're going to gain some incremental life with the Overlook here. And we draw a Ertai Resurrected. Alright, so we have so many options now. Do want to get the Loremaster down. Attack with the 1/1 first. See what we can draw. And yeah, draw another card, gain another couple of life. And it's an Infernal Grasp. Alright, so I think in this instance, the Loremaster is the best option here, as we can hold open our Infernal Grasp and hold open Faerie Vandal. And then we can start seeing if the opponent wants to take the bait with the Loremaster here. So they're going to take 2 life with this Sheoldred anyway. They do not take the extra 2 damage from Sheoldred here. So they are down to 9 life already, which is not a large life total here. I'm not planning on attacking with my creatures apart from the 1/1, but there's always that option that we can get in there with Sheoldred, the Loremaster, or even flash out some of these other creatures. So I think I'm going to deal with Windgrace here and get that off the board. And yeah, we want to just try and get as much damage as we possibly can before the opponent gets to play any of their cards. Their big ones, like the Titan or something, that would be annoying, gaining 5 life. But it's just another Soul of Windgrace, so I'm okay with that. Now we get to draw, and we get to draw an extra card, so we're gaining 4 life this turn. And yeah, all our creatures have flash, so we will play on our opponent's turn. We can attack with the 1/1 though, and draw and discard again, so that's another 2 life gain this turn, so that's up to 6 already. So we're on 31 life. Opponent takes another 2 life from drawing their card for the turn. And yeah, let's see if they're going to draw another card and go down to 4, which they do. Alright, so either they've got a way to clear this board this turn, or they're digging for something. Alright, Ren and 7. So we have options here. They had to pay 2 extra for that Ren and 7. They've only got the 1 land open here. So, Overcharged Amalgam here can counter that. If we exploit a creature, just exploit the 1/1. We're, again, under no real pressure here, so I was fine get rid of the 1/1 then. Even if they'd taken 1 extra damage that last turn, they'd obviously still only be on 4 now, so chances are we can't kill them next time anyway. But we do have a 3/3 flyer now that can fly over any blockers they have. And opponent goes to attack our Kaito, gain another life with the Overlook. They're back up to 6. We could block, or we could just let Kaito go and tap them down next turn for victory. So I guess they have 1 mana open if they have a cut down or something. And yeah, pretty dead on board as we get to attack with our team to kill our opponent. Jobs are good in. Alright, on the draw, opening hand with both Loremaster and Sheoldred, which is exactly what we want to see. And also probably our best 2 drops as well, interaction-wise, with the Make Disappear and Infernal Grasp. So this is looking good so far. Alright, opponent with a Spara's Headquarters, so a Bant deck it seems. We get to play Island and Go, and there's an Iganjo and a Gala Greeters. Alright, so this is going to be a tough if they can create a massive board here, but let's see if we can just sort of hold fire until that happens. Hold open our Infernal Grasp, although Gala Greeters is a pretty powerful card. There may be worse to come, so Lunark Veteran, don't care about that. Get to take out the Gala Greeters, and yeah, so a token-based deck as opponent plays Resolute Reinforcements, which is a really good one with the Gala Greeters. So we don't have any like board wipes in our deck, so lots of little 1/1s, little pesky creatures is a problem for us as we draw a Make Disappear. But I guess Sheoldred is going to be a big blocker when that gets down as well. So what do we want to see now? We don't really want to see any sort of pump spells. Intrepid Adversary would be bad. Opponent with a Falco, Spara, which we can counter. Surely they must have seen us holding open a counter spell there. Yeah, we'll just throw down Sheoldred. If anything, like I said, just a massive blocker in the way. Opponent is going to also take 2 damage. And another Falco Spara. So we're going to gain a bit of life off this veteran. Hopefully it doesn't negate our damage too much as we draw another Sheoldred. We seem to be good at drawing second Sheoldreds. Alright, tough decision here as to whether we play out our Loremaster or hold open counter magic. I guess we could do both if we were to hold open and make disappear, but with the opponent on 6 mana already, I choose to hold open Ertai Resurrected. They more than likely would be able to pay for make disappear, and we have nothing to casualty here. I guess we could casualty this Sheoldred. We do have a second one in the hand, but I think that's pretty unlikely. Alright, I'm in an RN whether to play the Ertai Resurrected here, but decided, you know what, it's just 3 damage. It's fine, we'll take that one. And I'm glad I did, because the opponent then followed up with a Sanctuary Warden, which is a card I don't know if we could have dealt with. And yeah, we'll just counter that and move on with our lives. Opponent draws a card there through Ertai Resurrected and take 2 more damage through Sheoldred. Alright, so this is a game that's going to take a little while to for us to kill them, if we even manage to do so. Not drawing another land there, slightly annoying as I'd like to hold open the Amalgam. But yeah, just 3 1/1s on the battlefield, which means we can even get in there with Sheoldred now. So guess we could have also attacked with the Ertai Resurrected if we needed to. Card that isn't really doing much on the battlefield now. Opponent now with 6 mana. And Wandering Emperor. Well, not a card I want to see, but we can casualty our pretty redundant Resurrected here, and we can make disappear their Wandering Emperor. So glad we had that option on the table. We seem to have been able to deal with all of our opponents' threats, whatever they've thrown at us, we managed to deal with here. So we draw another land, which is pretty decent, and obviously our Loremaster now allows us to draw an extra card, and we draw our 3rd Sheoldred. Alright, so not particularly great in our drawing there, but yeah, we get to attack with Sheoldred again. Opponent blocks with a 1/1. Our life total is back up to 18, and the Amalgam here in our hand can counter anything that they want to do if we exploit, that is. If not, just a 3/3 blocker is going to be pretty good. And yeah, the opponent tries another Wandering Emperor, and we get to casualty our Sheoldred here, I did, because we have another 2 in our hands. It means that next turn we get to play Sheoldred if we don't draw anything relevant, and they follow up with a 1/1. So we get to draw 2 cards. And yeah, Sheoldred is going to cost 6 mana this turn, but there's nothing else we can do anyway. And we even have a blocker now for their bird. So I think we've done pretty well in this game to not get overrun by a sort of Bant tokeny style deck here. But we definitely need to try and find a way to get more damage through. Oh, an opponent scoops it up. They don't like this. Okay, we'll take those. Alright, on the play here. And the hand looks okay. No Sheoldred, no Loremaster. So a much more control style hand here. Alright, we get to lead with our tap land. Yeah, next turn probably Pilfer. As we draw a tap land. So there was no point really playing that tap land on that turn. We can play it next turn as we don't have a 3-drop in our hand anyway. And yeah, we get to look in their hand, and they are an enchantment style deck. I mean, all these cards are pretty annoying. I go for the Leyline Binding, as I feel that is the card that's going to annoy us most if that's played against one of our Sheoldreds later. So it's going to be a tough game, especially if these naturalists gain a lot of life. Yeah, so there's our tap land, and glad we didn't play that last turn. And I chose to just deal with this naturalist now before they get any value off the discount next turn. We know they have another one. We know they have the Kieran as well. But we'll try and just sort out each threat the opponent throws at us as and when they do that. And they play a naturalist anyway. Alright, so we draw a Ertai. And now, yeah, we're just playing on their turn now. So we'd love a Loremaster. Opponent's got to suspect a counter spell here. And they play Teach-Ins. I think in this instance, I'm kind of okay with that. Because what we can do instead is ambush the 2/2. But they follow out with a Wedding Announcement anyway. And yeah, that's definitely a spell we would like to counter. So we could have ambushed the 2/2 if they hadn't have played that Wandering Emperor that turn, instead of countering the Kieran. So it all worked out fine for us, and I doubt they're going to attack with this naturalist into a 3/2. But they do. Alright. Did not expect that, but we will snap that off because that is definitely a card we don't want them to be having. We draw a Deluge and no land, so we just pass our turn. Basically, we're going to play our... Well, we have a choice here. We can play the Ertai, the 2 Vandals, or the Deluge to draw some cards. Or to, yeah. So these don't actually draw cards with Deluge. So you got to be a little bit careful with Sheoldred. You're not going to get the value that way, but it's just good card advantage, I think. Especially in a deck like this. As they get in there with a 2/2. And Catilda, I don't think so. So we'll counter that and get another body onto the board here. So we could let that go and then have the Deluge. But if we hadn't have hit removal, the Catilda with lifelink may have put them too far away from us. Again, we could have also attacked there with the Resurrected, but I didn't. I decided to hold it back. And we'll try and play for the long game. We're pretty susceptible to like Banishing Light or any of those enchantment based removals, but you've got to just take that chance. They don't have any, and they play a Kami of Transience. It's a good one. And the Teach-Ins. Alright, so these flyers in our hand are going to be pretty powerful, as apart from Hallowed Haunted, I'm not entirely sure they're going to have many ways to deal with flying creatures. But we'll take 2 damage here and finally get a chance to look at the top 4 cards of our library. Definitely take the land. And more card draw. And taking Kaito, as it's a 3-drop, means we can play it and then hold open mana for a Faerie Vandal. Now, we could play Faerie Vandal now to put a counter on it. However, I think having it as an ambusher can sometimes be better. So we get to draw and discard, and we find our Sheoldred. All right, so things are looking up now. If we can try and find a 6th mana, we should be in business here. Opponent targets their Kieran with their trigger, which is fine. They can't attack Kaito this turn, so at least we're going to get value from that next turn. So yeah, fingers crossed we draw a land, and it's the Catilda's backside. So that's giving flying, lifelink, and protection from vampires. Gets +X with X to the amount of permanents you control, spirits or enchantments. That's a really good one. Glad we have this Infernal Grasp in our hand, because yeah, 7 life gain for our opponent is going to be huge here. See what they target before we destroy the 7/7. Yeah, so they take our Deluge from our graveyard, which is annoying, but it's fine. And they quite rightly spread the counters around, so we'll definitely take out the 7/7 here. And yeah, we can block the Kieran with our Ertai Resurrected, so we can get rid of 2 of their creatures off the board here. We do go down to 7, which is a low life total. So we draw a land, but it's tapped. All right, so this is where we play Sheoldred, and fingers crossed they don't have a way to remove that, as we draw a Silver Scrutiny, which is perfect, as we get to draw some cards next turn. Fingers crossed with Sheoldred on the battlefield, we get to gain some life. All right, opponent's playing Rite of Harmony, so what a time for us to put down Sheoldred. So let's see how many cards they draw this turn and how much damage they take. Surely they feel pretty safe being on 22 life. All right, so it's one card. And here's a creature entering the battlefield. So this is the second card they've drawn this turn. Down to 18. And a Kami as well. All right, so draw another card. Down to 16. Do they have a small creature as well that we can let them draw another card? They don't. So we draw a Bankbuster. More card draw, which is exactly what we want to see. So we have 6 mana this turn. We can play our Scrutiny, gains a load of life. But let's start by upticking our Kaito. Draw and discard. Tough decision as to what we want to discard here. Discard the Bankbuster. And yeah, play our land. So more land equals more cards to draw with the Scrutiny. The opponent takes 2 more damage from Sheoldred. They're going to go down to 14. We are on 14 ourselves. So we've done pretty well. But yeah, they could easily swarm us here with 6 mana they've got, and we don't have any ways to counter it. I guess we could draw into something with the Scrutiny if we need to. Kaito also on 6 loyalty already, so not expecting that to stick around for this turn, till next turn, but what, they're going to have to attack into Sheoldred, so they may lose creatures this turn as well. And they play a Kami, which is fine. Obviously our hands is giving them some sticks, so they've got to expect counter magic, and they cast a Wedding Announcement, which is gonna trigger all the Kamis, but there's nothing we can do about that. And yeah, just cast our Vandal, and then let's play Silver Scrutiny for as much as we can. Draw 3 cards, gains 6 life, and the Vandal gets a +1 counter, so a lot of value there. Guess we could have played the Vandal after they attack, but I don't think it matters too much, to be honest. Alright, opponent throws everything at Kaito, except for the Kirin. And the Kirin comes at our face. And they are going to be able to put a +1 counter on something. So I'm pretty resigned to the fact that Kaito is going to be hit this turn. Clearly don't want to lose my Sheoldred, so we'll just block the 3/3 and the 1/1. Yeah, keep the Kamis alive. I mean, at the end of the day, if they die, they just keep coming back from the graveyard. So we'll get rid of the token and Wedding Announcement triggers. They draw a card, they take an extra 2 damage. Alright, so we have more card draw here, so we can gain more life. They only have 1 blocker though, and we do have 2 creatures we can attack with. So what we could do is play the Ertai here, destroy the Kami. It's one of the only times you want to play this card on your turn. Destroy the Kami. They're going to gain a card here, so they're going to take another 2 damage. We can hit them for 6. We could even play the Scrutiny here to put another +1 counter on the Vandal, but we'd only put them down to 3, and then they would go to 1 in their upkeep. Not necessarily dead, so let's just leave it like that. Keep our card draw in our hand. And suddenly the opponent's on 4 and Rite of Harmony. Okay, so are they going down with all guns blazing? Or is this a mistake? And it's Leyline Binding. Alright, so Sheoldred, I guess, is going to die now. So maybe they do find their way into this. Let's see what they target, because we do have the Vandal here. Okay, so they do target Sheoldred, which is what I expected. Draw a couple of cards, gain some life back, gain some value off our Sheoldred. So there's a pretty decent play there by the opponent with the binding. Our Vandal's going to get an extra counter though, so whatever happens, they're definitely going down to 1 next turn. And to be honest, with the Silver Scrutiny in our hand, we can draw a extra card next turn on our turn, which will put a counter on the Vandal. So unless they can kill this Vandal, they are dead. They draw for their turn, and just a forest, so they do have 2 mana here, as the binding was played in the upkeep for 5 mana. Announcement triggers, draw another card through the Rite of Harmony, and yeah, we just play our Silver Scrutiny for whatever, and attack our opponent with lethal. And yeah, the writing's on the wall there. We draw a Loremaster, or 2 Loremasters, so I'm glad we managed to go over the line on this particular turn, because I'm not entirely sure we would have survived much longer. But the damage from Sheoldred and why they played that Rite of Harmony earlier, I'll never know, as they took quite a lot of damage on one of their turns. Alright, on the draw here with a couple of islands, no black mana, but we got a few draw steps to get there, and we draw a Overcharged Amalgam, so we'll just play our island here, say go. And it is Park Heights Pegasus. Okay, another island for us. They probably think we are that blue Haughty Djinn deck here. Haven't seen this Pegasus in a good minute here. And they're going to attack, are they? They do attack. So what do they have? Alright, so reinforcements. I think I'm going to counter that because they will draw cards off of the Pegasus. And we draw a 3rd mana. It's a tap land, but this is a good time to get it down, as we have no turn 3 play anyway, or 3 drop play. Yeah, so we probably want to get the Vandal out anyway this turn. And we get to flush it out before blocks are determined, so if the opponent's got any instant speed stuff, they'll be inclined to play it now. They decide against it, and we'll just block. Get that off the board, and fingers crossed we draw a land. They follow up with the Queen. So we did not draw a land, we drew a Make Disappear. And we can play Pilfer here to look into their hand, or hold open the Grasp or Make Disappear. I think Pilfer is as good as Make Disappear though. And yeah, a couple of Darians and reinforcements. We can deal with Darian when it hits the battlefield. We can't deal with loads of little 1/1s. And that would trigger the Queen that's on the battlefield, so they would be getting an awful lot of tokens. And Darian comes down, the Queen is now 3/3. So there's a King and Queen on the battlefield here. Nice little flavour there. And yeah, there goes our 4th mana. So we know they've only got a king in their hand, which they can't really play anyway because of the legend rule. So it's pretty safe to play out Sheoldred here. They would need to top deck an answer for this. And let's see if we can start doing some damage with Sheoldred. I'd like to see them attack into this. Well, they may attack with the King Darian, but I don't see the points. I guess if they have another reinforcements, if they've drawn that, that would be annoying right now. Okay, so AO, I mean, that is annoying. Not really sure what we could have done there anyway. I guess we could have held open Make Disappear, but they may not have played it into our open mana anyway. Gain 1 life with our tap land. We may just have to bite the bullet and accept the fact that this may die and get some value from dying. Just one of those things. We can always counter the ability of the AO after killing it, I guess. It'd be quite a clunky play. It would take up all our mana, but we have the cards to do that. We just need another land. Opponent down to 16 already. We're sitting on 19, but so they get in there with their 6/5. So when this dies, they get to put cards onto the battlefield from the top X cards, or top, I think it's 4 cards off their library. Not sure what they're thinking about here. They've definitely got... Oh, I think King Darien has an ability, doesn't it? So that would hold up the play. No blocks. We'll just take 6 damage. We have other ways we can win this game. And yeah, we'll play out our Ertai Resurrected now. So we get to destroy this AO. They get to draw a card and take 2 more damage. And then we have the Grasp if we need to destroy anything that they find with AO. So I'm pretty fine with this particular play. We don't have exile effects in our deck, so the AO is going to have to die anyway. Alright, it's top 7 cards. Alright, so top 7 cards, mana value 4 or less. Alright. And it is a Catilda and Intrepid Adversary. Alright, so very good draws there for our opponents as they... Okay, so their board's pretty big now. This is going to be a tough one. Draw another land. At least AO's gone. And just pass our turn here. Hold open our spells. Could have done with some card draw here, as we'd like to find the Loremaster. But opponent takes another 2 damage. So it doesn't look like we're going to be attacking them anytime soon. However, the Amalgam does have flying, and they don't have any ways to deal with flying. I think the biggest threat on the board at the moment is definitely that Adversary with the lifelink. I don't know if we'll be able to come back from gaining another 7 life. And it's Restoration of Aganja, okay. Alright, I wonder if the opponent is going to attack into us, as we are going to be able to... What are we going to be able to do? We're going to be able to Infernal Grasp that Adversary, which is going to take 3 power off of all their creatures. Yeah, and the Queen will take 4 power off her creatures if she attacks, because the Adversary will be off the battlefield as well. So they would lose their Queen, so I don't really think they can attack here, to be honest. And yeah, let's see what they do. Alright, so they're going to attack with King Darien. I mean, easy block there after we've killed... Oh, no, they're not. And they pass through to end step. Ah, smart. They definitely would have lost at least one of their creatures there. Probably the Queen I would have blocked with Sheoldred. But we get to Infernal Grasp that Adversary, get that off the board. And play our Amalgam just as a 3/3 flyer. We've got them down to just 12 life, so we can start attacking in the air now. Yeah, decline that. So as long as we stop them gaining life, we should be good. Oh, a Loremaster's nice as well. Wonder if they see the line here with the Loremaster and the Sheoldred, because they could be taking quite a bit of damage over the next couple of turns, but we definitely attack with the 3/3 here. Hold open our Make Disappear. And they play Reinforcements. And yeah, go to counter that. You know, this is a slight mistake, as I forgot Catilda was on the board. For them, they could just pay for it. I could have done the casualty there with the Ertai Resurrected and got that countered completely. So misplay on my sort of behalf there, but I don't really think it's going to matter too much, to be honest, unless they can kill me now. Not really sure what they could do, to be honest. They go down to, well, they draw an extra card there. All right, they must see on the board what's going on. They must be able to win this turn, because why would they have done that? Their spells are taxed this turn by 2, and yeah, we just attack them next turn with a 3/3 and they die in their upkeep. Alright, so there's the Adversary, and they get to pump that. More expensive Adversary as well. And they even go with Catilda to... And they only attack with the 6/6, so that would only put us down to 12 if we took this anyway. Okay, well, we just block one of them. Just take 6 damage. Am I missing something? I'm not sure. They must have a way to remove Sheoldred in their upkeep next turn. We draw an island, gain 2 life. Can draw another card, gain another 2 life. It's a Kaito. Alright, so we can even gain life off of Kaito as well. get to play this, even though it costs slightly more. We have more than enough mana to do so. You can hit the opponent for 3. Put them down to 2. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about the upkeep and Sheoldred. I don't think they should have taken that. And yeah, I don't think they should have taken the extra 2 damage last turn. We get to attack them for 3. Draw with Kaito. Don't have to discard. Gain another 2 life. And it's another Loremaster. Alright, see what they can do. Pass our turn. And alright, trigger on the stack. So they're going to need to gain life now. But I don't put it past them. They are playing white and green. I can't think off the top of my head what they could gain life. I mean, there are several cards they could use, but they'd need them in their hand. They draw with their land instead. It's another 2 damage. So there's 4 damage on the stack. And yeah, they're dead. Just in the nick of time. So thanks for watching. This deck seems super fun as it's different to what's on the meta at the moment. And we still get to play with Sheoldred, just a different angle on it. You can always try different builds around the Loremaster and Sheoldred combo, depending on the meta. But anyway, subscribe if you can for future videos, and as always, thanks for watching.